Good, happy Wednesday morning, February 6th, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, State of the Union. Trump calls for end of politics of revenge, resistance, and retribution. Facing a divided Congress for the first time, President Donald Trump on Tuesday called on Washington to reject the politics of revenge, resist, and rehabilitation. He warned emboldened Democrats that ridiculous partisan investigation into his administration and business could hamper a surging American economy. New Hampshire delegation reacts to State of the Union address. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we max.
New Hampshire's two Democratic senators say they appreciate the president's call for bipartisanship, but say they were issues they had hoped to hear more about tonight.
And talked about several areas which I hope we will be able to work together on, investment in infrastructure and lowering prescription drug costs. I was disappointed that he didn't give more specifics about how he wanted to do that, but I hope this is an opportunity for us to work on those issues in the interest of America.
I wish he would have touched on the issue of surprise medical bills, something I've heard him mention before, which is a real issue that is facing people in our state. I wish in this call for unity of his that he had been very specific that he won't shut down the government again and that he will truly work with us.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we want to hear from you. Did you watch last night's State of the Union? And if you did, let us know what you thought about it. Autopsies planned for after man and woman found dead in a Hooksett home. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Instead of shoveling snow this season, get your own Kubota BX tractor with your choice of snow removal.
Investigators could be seen collecting evidence from this home on Kimball Drive in Hooksett hours after police came to do a welfare check. That's when police found a man and woman dead inside.
When officers entered the home, it was obvious that the individuals were deceased, and we are investigating all circumstances surrounding that.
The Attorney General's office is investigating along with state police and the Hooksett Police Department.
At this point, all I can say is that we are investigating it as suspicious.
Right now, police aren't releasing any other details about their deaths, including their identities.
Currently notifying next of kin. They're kind of spread a little bit throughout, but we are in contact with next of kin.
And as investigators wait for autopsies to be complete, they do have a message to the community.
At this point in the investigation, we do not feel that there is any ongoing threat to the public. We would remind people to always be vigilant, and if anybody in the area saw anything they thought may have been suspicious, probably starting on that February 3rd Sunday date, to please contact State Police Headquarters with any information they may have.
We are told the autopsies will be completed tomorrow. After that, we'll find out how these two people died, but we may not have that information until Thursday morning. Reporting in Hooksett, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire lawmakers hear arguments for against legalizing recreational marijuana. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
At Beltate's, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltate's Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
We are here to oppose this bill that would legalize recreational marijuana.
They came to Reps Hall from across New Hampshire, granted staters on both sides of the policy battle over the legalization of recreational marijuana.
One thing I learned when I smoked pot was that it wasn't the big horrible thing that people said it was.
Pro-cannabis forces say the public is on their side. They contend legalization is not just the right thing to do, but will also rob criminals of black market profits.
We have drug cartels, we have gangs, we have violent people that are involved in this industry, for the most part. Legalization removes that. You don't see Walmart and Rite Aid shooting it out over a street corner.
Still, law enforcement is aligned against legalization. While recreational pot would bring in an estimated $19 to $31 million in annual tax revenue to the state under this bill, they argue the costs to society would be higher, and they told lawmakers that trying to enforce driver intoxication laws would be much more difficult.
I don't have any appetite as the chief of police to have officers on the side of the road at 2 o'clock in the morning with a cotton swab taking buccal swabs from people on the side of the road for testing with marijuana.
Governor Chris Sununu has already said he'll veto any legalization legislation that lands on his desk, potentially setting up a high-stakes veto override vote. But the bill's sponsor, Representative Rennie Cushing, says he's just taking this one step at a time.
We've had a tremendous amount of work that's been done over the past couple of years. I think we're ready to move forward.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Fact check of the 2019 State of the Union address and Democrats' response. Let's take a look at this video.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart.
If there is going to be peace and legislation, there cannot be war and investigation. It just doesn't work that way. We must be united at home to defeat our adversaries abroad. This new era of cooperation can start with finally confirming the more than 300 highly qualified nominees who are still stuck in the Senate, in some cases years and years waiting. Not right.
Okay, and there you go on that video. President Donald Trump delivered his second State of the Union address Tuesday. He called for unity among Americans and is expected to lay out an agenda of the American people. Remains found at wastewater plant may be baby or fetus, officials say. Let's take a listen to this video and this report from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
A water treatment facility in Conway is now the focus of local police and the Attorney General's office after what authorities are calling intact human remains were found there today.
We're trying to determine the circumstances that led to these remains being deposited at the waste treatment plant. We also want to make sure that the mother is taken care of, that she doesn't have any health needs, and that she's safe.
Right now, the circumstances leading up to the discovery remain a mystery, including the exact age of the remains that were found.
In this case, until the medical examiner makes her examination and findings, we can't classify these human remains as those of a fetus or those of a child.
While it's still unclear exactly how the remains got there, authorities say they do have a theory.
There are a variety of ways that the remains could have ended up in the facility, but it appears the most likely way was through the sewer system.
An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow to determine the cause and manner of death. Meantime, if anyone has information related to this case, they are urged to call the Conway Police Department. In Conway tonight, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dow features slightly lower after Trump's State of the Union address. On the data front, Wednesday will see U.S. trade defect figures, productively data, and unit labor cost at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Investors will also focus on a slew of corporate earnings. General Motors, GlaxoSmithKline, SoftBank, Toyota, Spotify, and New York Times are set to report before the bell. Chipotle Mexican Grill, FireEye, New Market, and Sonos are among the companies expected to report after the bell. Also, U.S. stock index features traded lower on Wednesday morning after President Donald Trump delivered his second State of the Union address. Five takeaways from President Donald Trump's State of the Union address. President Donald Trump called for unity again and again in his State of the Union address, delivered a speech that was sharp contrast to the last month of digging in his heels during a 35-day government shutdown and almost 2 years of political battles during his administration. Here are 5 major takeaways from the speech. Number 1. Trump calls for greatness and comparison in State of the Union, but doesn't budge from his own uncompressing position. And take a look. Number 2, Trump remains steadfast on the wall. Number 3. The nation won't soon forget the woman who watched. Number 4. Trump uses speech to announce dates for second North Korea summit, highlighting peace efforts. And last but not least, Stacey Abrams closes out the night. Another emphasis that Trump's second State of the Union comes on the heels of a new era. And those are the 5 takeaways from his speech last night. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you back here later on today. And also, we have a question of the day for you. What do you think about the State of the Union address from last night? Comment below and let us know. We want to hear from you. And have a wonderful day, everyone. See you back here later on today. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.